nice layer. Oh, beautiful. Work of magic. All that's so clean up there. Anyways, so I'm thinking tomorrow will be a nice day to do like a little catch-up day. I'm gonna finish off loading these suckers up with some alizarin crimson, and then we're done with that. I guess I could maybe work another day on like building out some of those tree lines and like specific like forest features that I was hoping to accentuate. But we will see what the day brings tomorrow, and I will see you all there. It'll actually be a much earlier live stream if I do stream tomorrow, which I will keep you updated on my Instagram or Twitter. Barely use Twitter, only really for updates on streams, which I know is a really lame Twitter to follow, but that's where I'm at. And then my Instagram is at kenda.llc, and then my Twitter, I think it's like also Kendall making art. It's on my profile. I should have looked at it. Anyways, don't worry about Twitter. Twitter is not my realm anyways. I love Instagram. Well, I mean, maybe not the platform, but I like my Instagram. But I've had 388 photos. I looked at that the other day. That was such a milestone for me. I remember, because like every one of my photos is like a unique new photo from other photos. I don't like repost. And I remember like the struggle to get to 100 posts felt so monumental. It was like unbearable. I gave myself like a year to make 100 posts after I've actually like decided I was gonna make like an art Instagram, because for a long time I was like, I don't have an art Instagram, like I don't put my art on Instagram. It was really like I didn't want people to see my art. Like I was like, that sounds ugh. But then eventually I made one, and I've been loving it since, because like I actually get to like show my work, and it's also just like a nice archive to visually see of like all the stuff I've done since posting on Instagram, and it gives you such a nice way to like so clearly reflect and like look back on all that work, because like for me, I'm a visual learner, obviously. I'm a visual processor, but yeah, I think it's nice. I don't remember what my point was. I'm rather tired. That's my point, maybe. I'm way up past my bedtime. Like non-functional. I've had like no water. My gosh. So yeah, I think I'm gonna skedaddle. I gotta clean off my bed. I gotta clean a lot. If you watch my stream earlier and you see the end of it. Oh my goodness. Okay. Welcome to part 2 of the stream, folks. So a lot of these are not actually dry, all 10 of them. Actually, I think none of them are dry right now. So I'm going to work and develop these 3 paintings a little bit more, because out of every one of them, I think they're the weakest, and I don't really see any inspiration coming from them right now. So I'm going to modify them by throwing more paint around on them. Oh my gosh. I'm throwing candles. My goodness. Someone's gonna be like, are you alright? So this is what we got so far. I really love this brown and pink happening right now on this one, but where it loses me is over here. I just don't read any of this as like fire related to me. I think this could be a cool like Smoky Mountains thing. I live in a very mountainous area, so I'm thinking of messing this one up. I'm definitely gonna mess it up. But this was supposed to have like an apartment kind of effect look, but it's coming off like cheap spooky, so I need to mess with this one more. And then this one, it's just not hitting me. Like it kind of looks like vomit right now, but I have another version of this that's gonna look way better with the red on it. So these 3 I'm gonna change up some, and then hopefully the other ones will be dry by the time we are done with these, because I'd love to be able to do the red layer. Where's my apron? I've lost my Starbucks apron. Okay, well, so what I'm thinking about doing for this one first, just bring these over. I just want to like mess with this. I want to see what happens when I start just like... But I want to like preserve a lot of this down here. I'm going to focus on just like messing up here. And you have to imagine all these paintings covered in red afterwards. Hello, Madeline. Or Maddie. Oh, Maddie Lynn. Okay. Oh, thanks. I'm happy with how it's going so far. There's actually 10 paintings in total that I'm working on. And they're all supposed to be like kind of global warming, wildfire specifically related. So you gotta imagine all of these like with a red layer over it completely. But I think this kind of looks like, you know, like smoky mountains, like really fluorescent. Yeah, so I think this one's pretty good now. I can work on that later. Because I'm doing a layer of red over, and then over that I'm doing like some ballpoint pen work or like little fine line pen work. There's an alarm going off in the other room. I hope someone turns that off, that's okay. So there's this one. Not much is dry on this one, so there's not much to do. This one's kind of wet still. I kind of want to know what happens if we like... How's your day going? My day's going pretty good. It was kind of like a lazy around the house, working on projects kind of day. Did some laundry, moved Christmas stuff upstairs. Ooh, fun. Ooh, look at this. Wow. Look at that. Wow. Wow. You know what I think we just made? Talking about coral and coral death, coral bleaching. So that's another subject I'm very passionate about. Oh my gosh. Wow. Who knew? This one, I don't know, it could be kind of used more work, but wow, I'm like, sorry, I should show you guys more. I'm like so obsessed with that. Whoa. Who knew? That's like it might be narcissistic to sit here and be like, wow, because all I did was just like put two things together and throw some paint around, but like, that's super fun. I'm gonna stop staring at that. It's like, it's the same little pattern, but it goes like really small down even over here. It's like fascinating to look at, and like all those colors in the like kind of negative space of like the halo around like the skeleton of this thing. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna put this down before I like drop it and ruin it, because that would be really devastating. I dropped one earlier that I really liked. Okay, don't even touch this one. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Look great. Thank you. I was really surprised. I'm just like in shock of that one. Okay, so this one, I'm really not sure what to do about this. Like you can still see kind of some of this texture that's there. I don't really think that does anything for this piece, unfortunately, even though it's like got kind of that cool coral texture as well. But I just don't really see this as like a thing. Yeah, so let's do some work. Let's first of all just like, ooh, that's kind of like a thin green over it. Wipe this off. Show you what I'm doing, just on my knee, just. Okay. Kind of like that more, but I don't know why, because it's not going to be green forever. That will darken it, for sure, because the green and red layer will make kind of like a brown tint. So what do we think about that? This way up is kind of interesting. Originally I had it down, kind of like, I was thinking apartment windows at first. So I keep not showing it. I just like, it doesn't speak to me yet, and I think it is that like rectangular nature of this thing. Because I don't think I have, the other one that I had that's kind of rectangular like this, I really, I mess with this so much that you can't even see like this, these squares or these rectangles. They're kind of attractive in this color scheme, but this is like, as a painting, no, pass. Okay, what are we gonna do with it though? First, get the thing wet. And then we've got more of this green. Glass over city at least. Oh, stained glass over city. Like looking out. That's kind of nice. Huh. I don't know. Where do we... Here. Let's start with white. Oh, let me move my black sweatshirt from underneath my leg first. Right. Ooh, that's kind of fun. See if we can get this corner kind of painted in. Ooh, a line. Fancy. Oh, but now I made more lines. Okay. And what are we gonna do with that? I think I'm gonna keep holding it at this angle for a couple minutes because I think what's gonna happen is a lot of this paint's gonna come down. I'll tap it on my knee maybe. A lot of this paint's gonna come down, it's gonna get thinner up there, and then it's gonna get really a lot more opaque down in this like textured area. I think this will show through a lot more of that red and green up here. You can already see it's kind of streaking in this darker kind of color. That's just the paint thinning out and my knees becoming white. So I'm gonna keep on this kind of technique for a little bit and hope that result kind of comes out, because I really want to maintain this like these squares and stuff, because I think it adds like a really burnt out kind of look to a less organic form. Like you don't see too many squarish things, even though these aren't super square. They're like weird and crunch charcoal-y kind of thing I'm going for. I think this will look cool, like texture of a tree kind of, like the bark of it. Okay. I'm gonna start bringing it back the other way now. Just to kind of even that out. Okay. Yeah, okay, I like that. I think that's gonna look kind of tree barky. Okay. Let me also show you. This painting is from earlier, when I was painting the first time, and I've been given a request not to put red over it. I've been told to stop painting on it. So this is what this one is going to look like as its final form. I'll bring you guys up close for some detail shots. It kind of reminds me of like the surface of a planet. Oh, how do I go back the other way? Oh my gosh, my camera's flipping everything in reverse, so I can't like focus on. Thank you. I'm really excited about it. I'm like, I don't know, fascinated by it. I love, it's like very cloudy, and those little dips of fluorescent color are really cool. I'll do like a planet surface series or something. Reminds me of like Saturn. I like the size too. It's like you can really get a lot of different concepts out really fast with having these little canvases. I bought a pack of 12 of them And I made a painting for my friend's birthday on one of these, so I'll stop looking at. And then I guess I've done another thing on this size of canvas. I must have, because I like lost it or something, if not, because I only found 10 today, and I think I bought 12, and I know I gave away one. So there's got to be another one out there in the world somewhere, but I just don't know where it is. But yeah, this one's almost dry. Pretty excited for that, because the second it's dry, the second I have to stop worrying about messing everything up, because a lot of these thicker areas, like this area in here, here, and here, are still wet. You can see anywhere it's shiny like that, you can see all that, that's all wet. It's not the whole thing, it's actually not too much of it that's left, but it's definitely still wet. And everything's still wet, but I'm gonna take a peek around and see if there's any that we could work. This is still wet. Put this one over here. This one might be dry. I'm gonna bring this one over to test. That one. This one's slightly still wet. Okay, let's check it out. Ba-boom. It's looking, oh, there's a little sheen. You can kind of see it, like glints. But I think that is the texture of the canvas. So I took a risk and I wiped all over it, and there's nothing moving. So I think that we can do our next step, which is turning everything red. So let me go get my painting box. Ta-da! And then Gamsol, and I'm going to go find a glove, I think, because I remember I always get my hands really sticky when I do this. Just kidding, folks, I have no gloves. Going in bare knuckled. Okay. Ba-bum. What we are looking for right now is alizarin crimson, which is a translucent red color. And it is all the way in the front of my little thing. Okay, there we go. I've got it rainbow organized, but unfortunately red is the first color. Okay. So, here's what we're gonna do. I don't have gloves right now, but what I'm gonna do, it's not gonna hurt me, it's just like hard to get off sometimes. It takes a lot of soap and water. Just like, you can eat a little bit, it's not gonna hurt you, just like don't smoke if you're gonna use it. Some little painting ASMR for you. Should just keep this out. It's gonna be like hot commodity tonight. I'm just gonna go for it and put like much more on than I was doing before. I didn't want to have like too much, but I haven't done this in a while, so I forgot how much it really takes to do this. Oh, I love the red already. Leaving the canvas white makes the red so bright, and I can't wait for this to be in contrast to a lot of those like majorly dark pieces, because things like green or blue are gonna look almost black. You can see like this streak horizontally here was actually green paint, just raw green, no black at all. But pure green and pure red are gonna make a really nice brown. And that brown is almost black to the eye. It's like a reddish black. And all these edges I'm going to be painting black with acrylic after everything is completely dry. I think it makes it like look sleek and also brings the whole series together even more. Even though it's pretty obvious that they like go together when they're all done. Because they're all like, and I really should have brought water. I'm like quite hoarse now. My goodness. I forgot water earlier in the stream too, and I didn't even get a glass in between. And it's been like an hour. Oh, bye Madeline. Enjoy your evening. Okay, so this is this one up close. Try to catch it at different lights. I'll rotate it. I'm not sure right now what orientation this painting will have. I'm not sure with this one if I'm going to add more details, and if so, what those details will be. Oh, I kind of like this. This is a nice natural oh, whoa, my camera's backwards. Oh, kind of like it like this then. This is a nice natural horizon line. And I could kind of build this into like something off in the distance and like a big smoke column maybe, or like, I think there's potential there. I can make this like a reflective body of water of the clouds up here, like build that out of it. Who knows? Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, well that was a nice one. Let's go get another one. See if anything is dry, and I dropped the lid to my paint, but I heard it fall, which means it's on the ground somewhere, and there's only so much ground in my immediate vicinity, which means it has to be somewhere nearby. Doesn't make any sense either words otherwise. Man, what the heck? Oh, so. Wow, I like just lost the lid somewhere. Okay, I will find that later. What a bummer. Okay, well let me go try to find another one that is dry. Yeah, this one is nearly dry. Thing is that, oh my gosh, it fell in the seat. How embarrassing. My goodness. Okay, so this one is nearly dry, which means that we're just gonna wave it around a little bit because I don't want to like jump off stream after I just got on. I've got a lot of steam for my stream, so I'm just gonna wave it around a little bit. Yeah. I like this one. It looks like it could be either like a bunch of stacks of trees, like pine trees I could build out like the shape of them, or I could have it like this, and it almost looks like a couple like branches of pine trees, like a bunch of them burnt out and smoking away. And I really like how natural and like not like forced in this shape occurred into, and it really aligns with a burnt out pine tree. but I don't have perspective like this anywhere else in my paintings, but also everything doesn't necessarily get smaller as it gets to the top, so it doesn't have an optical illusion effect like you would really want to make it look like a perspective painting. So, I don't know. Move it around a little. I think I'm gonna land on this, but I'm a little bit bummed because I feel like I have a lot of like this size view of a kind of like a tree, or not a lot of it, but like just a couple, which like if you only have 10 things, but like 4 of them are like the same, they look very different. But I was just hoping for a little more variety in like the viewpoint on the wildfire. I also think I'm gonna get more of these canvases because like they're not too expensive per canvas because they are just like super small and they're very manageable. Like you can, I don't know, get a lot of work done. It's very satisfying. It feels like paintings are finished really fast, but also that's the style. But the other painting I did in this also, it just felt very, you know, very manageable. Like it doesn't have to be, a lot of my paintings, they take like months and months because they're very big, and if you want a certain amount of detail on something of that size, it's just going to take a lot of time. Unfortunately, sometimes. I try to make it as fast as possible. Okay, let's see, there's still some wet spots immediately. A couple little dots of wet spots up here. I'm actually going to rotate so that this is moving the most, so that area is more likely to dry. Thinking about also, I usually, when I paint stuff, everything has something on the back. So I'm thinking on the back of these paintings, I'm gonna make like a Sharpie drawing of something, or maybe like a little practice painting of something. I like to do like studies of like different pieces of anatomy, or just like little doodles and things. So I might just throw something like that on the back of these. I think that'd be like a fun surprise for the buyer, unless they really hate the back, and then at least that's the side facing the wall, I guess. But I think of it like you get 2 pieces of art for the price of 1. And it's good like practice to train your hand, and like most people don't buy like drawings. Like I have hundreds of drawings, but like a lot of them are practice, and they look very much like practice, you know, they're not like a finished piece or developed piece. They're not saying anything, you know, conceptually, or there's no statement. It's just like practice. But I think on the back of a painting, yeah, okay, like throw a little practice on. So I very much enjoy doing that. I think it saves on materials. I think it's a better value for like the people who get the paintings in the end. And you can make like more concepts by like juxtaposing 2 images, like instead of just the one side, and like analyzing what's like happening in that picture. You can think about both sides and in context with each other, like what that means. I think that adds like a fun element to it all. Oh, it's so close to being dry. Switching hands. This is a good like hand workout. I got a big pink splotch on my painting over here, which sucks. Someone asked me the other day if it was Markiplier. It's not Markiplier, that's my boyfriend. My goodness, really quite parched. I was watching a lot of like The Haunting of Hill House, or like The Haunting of Blythe Manor. So if I sound like a 10-year-old British girl, like sometimes in my phrasings, it's because of that girl from the Blythe Mansion. She's so fascinating to hear speak. I don't know, she's like a great tone of voice to listen to, and it makes me like want to say the words she says. I don't know, that sounds weird, I don't know, but like parched. Yeah, she just has things like so cute. You know, also I watched The Queen's Gambit. Oh my gosh, I love that show. I was like, oh my gosh, so into it. I only watched it because the person on my first stream, there's like these 2 guys from England. Was it my first stream, or it might have been my second stream? I'm not sure. I think it was my first stream. and we were like chatting about all sorts of stuff, and they were saying that they do art, and I was like trying to figure out what type, and it was like a little coy for a second, and so that piqued my curiosity of what they do, and they told me I could stalk their page, so I went ahead and did that, and in one of their clips, they like were talking about the Queen's Gambit, or like recommended, or saying it was just like a really good show, and I'd seen it in my recommendeds, and so then I was like, you know what, like, if like, if he recommends it, then so be it. And it was freaking awesome. You're so right. Like, this dry, my hand is like cramping. It's nearly dry. Oh my gosh. Anyways, Queen Gambit's freaking awesome. It like made me think a lot about when I was younger, actually. I like mentioned this on a stream the other day, but like, I just did not feel very academically challenged a lot of school, which was really unfortunate, because then I got bored and like wasn't paying attention to a lot of important stuff, but I could memorize really efficiently for like small periods of time. I still can like remember amounts of information, like a couple chapters of something, like I can remember that pretty damn specifically. Oh darn, I'm trying not to curse on my channel. I just like think that's a better environment. I don't know. But I forgot my train of thought. I like, I get really bored because I was like just not stimulated. And so I started drawing a lot, which was great because I got really good at drawing. But it was not great because sometimes I get graded down for drawing in class. That was really annoying. Like drawing on stuff. I even had a psychology teacher one time. I was like drawing in my psychology class. I usually draw like if we're watching a documentary and someone is speaking, I will draw like the person who's like the dominant narrator. Oh my gosh, narrator. Narrator. But I will like draw that dominant narrator, which like now I don't even know how to say the word. But I'll draw that dominant narrator, and then at the end of the class, like oh my gosh, I can't remember how he said it, but he was like, there's this study that says that people who draw are actually not paying much attention to like what you're saying, and like they don't have the same retention skills as if they were not drawing. And I think that's so frustrating because like you really have to check with that study to see how they operated the study. Like, did they recruit people who doodle to pay attention? Like, some people really feel as though that makes them pay attention more because it gives them something to centralize their focus, so they're not like loose thinking or like daydreaming or whatever, like just thinking about other stuff you gotta do. Or whatever your reason to draw stuff is. Like, sometimes if I'm watching an art history lecture, I'll draw just to like do like quick sketches of the different art stuff right next to my notes, and it takes like 20 seconds, maybe a minute, but like I remember so much of that information now because I've got a little picture next to it, because like that shape will just remind my brain a little bit and it'll be more helpful than if it was just a bunch of random notes without any context, because I'm a visual learner. And that was really frustrating to me when he was like obviously I always sit front row because it makes me pay attention more. I think there's like more eye contact or like peer pressure with the teacher, like I just pay attention more. But yeah, so I was like, she just called me out like that. That's very frustrating. So I wonder if that study was done with people who did that, who draw to like pay attention and like helps focus their mind, or if they had like a random study sample, which would make sense for a lot of other like demographic issues, to have like a more like realistic representation of the general population. But I don't think that's what the actual question should be asking. It's like, are the people who claim that drawing helps them focus paying more attention or not if general people, because for most people drawing is a rather difficult not most people, but like a lot of people, drawing is like a rather difficult task, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to do it that way. It seems like it's inherently biased, and I think that's just like a general tip for a lot of studies, is look into how they're forming it and like think critically about the impact of like the formation of a study that will have on the outcome of that data. Like that's completely different. And that can, I mean, obviously change like my experience in a psychology class, based on whether or not they did their study, like, critically. That was a weird thought. It's kind of late. But how dry is this one? It's got these little wet parts. I think what I'm gonna do is just wipe them off. And now they create like little blank spots, like where the raw canvas pokes through, so that's kind of fun too. Okay, that's dry now. See, it like picked up some of this paint in like this spot right here and like right there. So that's gonna be like a fun little bright red spot in like a big dark black spot. So again, I'm gonna get some paint on my finger. I've got like a good amount, like, you know, when you like put like sunscreen on your face, that's like about what you should do at a time. And you might need to dip in like 2 times to do the whole little mini canvas here, maybe 3 for really being liberal with it. But 2 dips about this size got me this amount of coverage, which is a really nice coverage. Okay. Cool. I'm really liking that. Okay. Let's get another. How did I get like 2 opposite corners now need red? That's gonna be fun. Okay. I'm trying to do this with like 3 different tasks with 2 hands is a little difficult. Okay, I'm gonna do this corner first. Wahoo! There we go. And now, let's do this one. Alright. Yeah, I think that looks like pretty tree-like. What do you think? Okay, and then also this way, I'm debating if that looks like if I could draw in like a stacked kind of tree line. But what I'm thinking is that that doesn't look as convincing as this does. Like I can build burnt out trees out of this way easier than a tree line. I'm liking that a lot. Ooh, okay. So here's our 2 so far. And these might be the only 2 dry. Oh yeah, is this how we're doing them? Yeah. These might be the only 2 dry by the time. I just rubbed off some of that paint. 1 second. Oh shoot. What the heck? Just rubbing paint everywhere, GD. There was still some wet paint on the sides and I like touched it on. My bad. Anyways, sorry, I'm like seeing fingerprints in this thing. I gotta stop looking at it. Okay. Yeah, so these might be the only 2 we get done tonight. I'm gonna go check to see if some of those other ones are dry. Because I did talk for quite a while, so that could very well mean that they're more dry. So let's go check it out. I'm gonna go put these ones, boom, back with the other ones. I'm so into these. They're super cool. Okay, that one is still definitely wet. That one is still definitely wet. This one is still definitely wet. So this one is definitely wet. And this one is definitely wet. And that one is definitely wet. And this one, ooh, is definitely wet. So, that's the answer, folks. These all are all still wet. So that means that we are not going to be able to do the rest of the paintings tonight, but I will finish them up tomorrow because I'm very excited to see them done. And I'm going to be having some free time after work tomorrow, so might as well. And I missed, like, earlier in this week, I was taking like an extended holiday, like a week break from technology. It was very nice, it was very relaxing. I feel very rejuvenated. Ooh, I like how this Gamsol is separated out. It's very nice. A nice layer. Oh, beautiful. Work of magic. All that's so clean up there. Anyways, so I'm thinking tomorrow will be a nice day to do like a little catch-up day. I'm gonna finish off loading these suckers up with some alizarin crimson, and then we're done with that. I guess I could maybe work another day on like building out some of those tree lines and like specific like forest features that I was hoping to accentuate. But we will see what the day brings tomorrow, and I will see you all there. It'll actually be a much earlier live stream if I do stream tomorrow, which I will keep you updated on my Instagram or Twitter.